Drekanum's celebration. Outside, the birds are singing their songs as the sun sits patiently. "Congratulations, my beautiful angel," Lady Vintar, Drekanum's mother, is saying while approaching Drekanum wearing a radiant bluebeard dress accented with peach chrysanthemums. Following behind her is Drekanum's Aunt Sumar with climbing hydrangeas, and her son Groan in tow wearing porcelain vines. Next to Groan is Lord Shinlin in ornate purple leaf grapes, and a young male elf Drekanum doesn't recognize, wearing autumn creepers. "Thank you, Mother," Drekanum replies, smiling sweetly at everyone curiously at the new face. This is the last thing she expected, departing her most extraordinary experience of her life, being in the collective of the forest, the Shukalik. Now she stands accosted by her family with expectations of social decorum. Vita's fingers lackadaisically stroll over Drekanum's new breastbone and scale ornate breastplate. "This is very impressive," she remarks, before removing Drekanum's helmet swiftly. "This is Hamet's finest work," she says, handing the helmet back to Drekanum, hardly looking at it. "Now I see your brilliant face. Much better." She dotes while straightening Drekanum's braids and looks back at Sumar and Shinlin with a radiant smile. "Oh, much better," Shinlin remarks enthusiastically. Drekanum thinks he sounds more like a well-trained pet than a respectable lord, but her lips press together, unmoving. Aunt Sumar shakes her head in agreement in her prim manner. "We will have sway with a council member in the family." "The helmet makes you look like a warrior," Groan remarks, slipping Drekanum a wink. "Congratulations, Drekanum Husami of Council Höfjar. Of course, I still don't have to listen to you," he adds, holding back laughter. Her Aunt Sumar pokes Drekanum Groan in the side, looking annoyed. Drekanum eyes him, wondering at the new face. Groan's eyes shift to the newcomer, then back to Drekanum with a sigh look. Drekanum sighs. "None of that, lady," her mother says, clasping her arm and bringing her over to the new face. "This is Lord Pluot. He is here visiting his uncle, Lord Shinlin, from the southeast part of Höfjar. They are both of the seed mandrake." Drekanum smiles quaintly. "It is my pleasure," Pluot says, lowering his head, grasping her hand to steal a kiss. Drekanum's eyebrows rise as he stands straight and tall, looking into her eyes. Meeting such a famous and influential Alfeel. When he lets go of her hand, she lets it rest in the air a bit, taken with surprise at it all. She says. "Yes," waiting to wipe off the kiss. "Honored," she says instead. "I have invited everyone to my place to celebrate you, our new council member," Shinlin announced to Drekanum. Drekanum's tired eyes roll over the group, her mind silently analyzing them. Groan makes her uneasy with his constant snickering. "All right," she says, trying to sound happy. "But I need to get to Chicheyu before too long. I need to find him a safe place for tonight. The Nenajar are out looking for dragons, you know." The group laughs together. It makes Drekanum feel uneasy and left out of their plotting. Seeing her bewildered face, her cousin, Groan, explains. "That is exactly what we're going to help you with, cuz." "What?" she says, dismayed. "Yes, dear," Aunt Sumar adds. "You didn't think you could hide a dragon from us, did you?" "No," Drekanum blurts. In truth, Drekanum had never considered it of anything beyond the meeting. The staff seems to hum in her hands, but no one seems to notice. Perhaps it's all in her head. They're all consumed with her responsibility. Her position. The one she has never had a chance to announce to anyone. So how do they know? Then Drekanum glares at her mother. So, it is settled then, Lady Vita states. She makes an about-face with smooth elegance. She glides up the road, with Shinlen quickly following behind. Groan stands making faces between Pluo and Drekanum until Aunt Samar takes his arm and making him walk away. They all follow in procession toward Shinlen's place, much to Drekanum's displeasure. Pluo stands smiling, eager at Drekanum. It is us, he announces, holding out his hand to her. Hope glimmers in his eyes. Drekanum smiles reluctantly. She harbors a sigh, taking his hand cordially. The air between them is awkward and silent. The walk to Shinlen's place stretches itself out in length, with both their minds contemplating the other. The only sound is that of the bird songs and the soothing noises of the rustling leaves in the light midday breeze. Pluo, though, is anxious to speak. I am delighted to make the acquaintance of such an accomplished alpha. Drekanum dreads the conversation with repetition involved. Her mind grows suspicious of the lad, however. I have never been to the southeast Höfjar. This sounds encouraging to Pluo. It is nothing compared to the east and west, he says, staring at her excessively. His stares are not quite as a man admiring her gentle female form, but more of one taking in her striking and white appearance. True, not all Höfjarians have dark skin. Their tones resemble the trees, and some tree barks do come in light varieties, even white, but hers is the palest, coupled with the fact that she has pure white hair. It's never been seen before in Höfjar, not to mention her eyes. Blue eyes. No Höfjarian has ever had blue eyes. I hear say that you are more existential of position. The popular view appears of our blood as the dictator. Could you elaborate? Drekanum thinks his lines sound rehearsed. He is a fool if he was trying to appear intelligent. Her mind feels torpor suddenly. She is unsure what brought it about. It could be her experience in the Shuka League or the immediate contempt towards his conversation. No, she simply replies. No! Pluo is taken aback. His demeanor is affronted. No, as in, not your take on the matter, or no, you're not discussing the matter. It doesn't matter, she replies lethargically. What doesn't matter? He wants to know. His face is pained. The meaning of no. It is what you want it to be. Drekanum keeps her gaze forward, attempting to ignore his grand expressions towards her. He sighs heavily. There is silence for a long time, until Pluo tries again. I have heard of your library. We have no such thing in the southeast. Lady Winter says that you will attend me there. I cannot wait. What about you? His feelings are a mix of intrigue and plain shock written across his face. He strives hard to appear pleased. It troubles me to decline Lord Pluo, but I have business elsewhere. Drekanum attempts to avoid his eyes, so they are now hot on her face. Clearly she is resentful of the unannounced match. She is more upset with her mother, though Pluo is receiving it all. What elsewhere? Pluo exclaims. His face reddens as if slapped. You tease. Well, in truth, she thought, with his brooding forcing her eyes towards him. I have this new staff and responsibility. Your mother is intelligence consciente. She says that, he begins defensive, but suddenly Drekanum sighs and falters in her step, nearly falling on her face. Are you all right? He asks, reaching out to her. He holds sincerity in his demeanor. His aid displeases her, yet she softens her tone. Well, libraries can get stuffy, is all. As the words come out, she wants to strike her own face. She is perturbed with herself, not coming up with a better task, one far, far away. Surely he must have caught on by now. She begins to brood internally. He gives her a cross look. You don't like libraries, or you like libraries? Chloe's mind reels. Most ladies fawn over him. He is quite handsome, and carries a prominent name. Everything about this elf is strikingly different from the other females he's met. She isn't even that attractive. This is not at all what he expected, yet he wonders at his own intrigue. Why? He should go home and find lovely Amelia, and sink his face in her glorious bosom, and forget this whole experience. He doesn't. Instead, he regards Drekanum dumbfounded. I like libraries, books. Drekanum stumbles across the words, not acknowledging his pouty face. Empathy runs its course. You will not escort me to the library? Have you no compassion? I am not from here, you know. I don't know anyone but my uncle and your family. I misunderstood you. Sorry. Drekanum lies, gazing off at the trees, feeling trapped and wanting to go home. I will take you if that would make you happy. It smites her heart the second the words are released. It will, he says, beaming in triumph. She feels defeated, sucked in by this lord and his pity ploy. Here we are, she hears Shinlin say. Everyone has slowed. An old rusty-haired alpha opens the door. Alpha means elf. Welcome to my humble abode, Shinlin tells them excited, with his arm extending. Drekanum eyes her mother entering, first, accompanied by Sumar, with Groan trailing. Groan peeks back with mocking gesture. After you, Pluo says to Drekanum, as they near the door. Shinlin is waiting by, his eyes smile at them. Pluo enters after them, Shinlin leaving the butler to close the door. Shinlin's foyer is long with elaborate scrollwork made of vines. A magenta-topped elf eagerly escorts them to their seats in the dining area. Drekanum is seated next to her mother. Before her rump is rested upon the cushion, her mother excitedly whispers to her, "He is handsome and admirable, don't you think?" "Needy," Drekanum replies, low in timbre, feeling an insatiable urge to storm out, unannounced, regardless of what they have contrived. "He's a strong builder, very sought after," Vinter continues, putting her arm around Drekanum's shoulder and giving it a light squeeze, soft, affectionate squeeze. "That is nice," Drekanum sourly says. Her muscles tense, as if in defense of some assault. She watches as Shinlin issues orders to his servants. He seems to have many, like most nobles. Her family only shares one. It is curious. "Stop being difficult," Vinter retorts. With grace, she sips from a cup, radiant glow about, as if satisfied. Drekanum suddenly becomes thirsty, glancing around the table, taking it all in. She finds the beverage to be warm apple cider, her first delight since receiving a praise from Fafnir. Of course, this warmth does not last, spotting Groan. "Where's Groan's match?" she inquires of her mother. "He found an acceptable one already," Vinter reports. She nods, turning a pleasant smile to Pluo, who is oogling them from across the table. "Acceptable?" Drekanum repeats gruffly. "Dear," Vinter says sternly, "are you listening to me?" "I never listen," mumbles Drekanum under her breath. "I know," her mother answers. Drekanum wonders how she is to eat with Pluo's eyes upon them the whole time. She greets them with her own. Again she forces a smile. "It's suffocating in here," she says in her cup. "Nonsense," her mother replies, passing a salad of cocktails clovers and chickweed. And eat like a white lady, will you? Drekanum takes a good helping and passes it along to her Aunt Sumar at the end of the table. I judge him handsome, Aunt Sumar whispers, accepting the plate. He's easy to judge, Drekanum replies, with little thought to whom she speaks. Again, her mother returns, so laborious and monotonous. It is a good match. Give him a chance, will you? You've just met him. It is good of you to care, Drekanum says sarcastically. I do care. And you should, for all of Höfjar. Our family has always had to pave the way, Vinter says, frowning at Drekanum. I am told, Shinlin announces loudly from the head of the table, that we have some joiners in our house's building party. Ah, echo around the table, as everyone looks around gaily. The air is lifted suddenly, faces brighten, especially groans. Drekanum examines them, wondering. It would be great to see Liuf, to lay on her ears her woes and fears. She hates formality. Sometimes she wishes that she could be a dragon, to just slurp, smack, belt, fart, whatever she wants, and nobody would dare say a thing about it. I must confess, Shinlin goes with his eyes capturing Drekanum, that I am quite eager to hear what it was like to be struck off by a dragon, then captured by pirates, and to walk and eat among the barbaric giants of Tundran. His voice resonates around the room, capturing everyone's anticipation. Yes, says Pluto enthusiastically, with eyes alight. Tell everyone about your giant fireballs, the ones you threw at the dragon, Drekanum encourages everyone, well aware of Drekanum's lack of inclination to bolster. Though no words have passed between them, he knows of her enough to know that she is defeated. Yet he continues to toy. Drekanum feels an uncomfortable clenching in her stomach and drops her fork on the floor. Her mother taps her arm. Let the servants get that, dear. Drekanum clears her throat, defiant. Excuse me a second. She bends her head under the table and mumbles under her breath, making the fork shoot forward, jabbing, groan in the thigh. Eh! Groan gasps abrupt as Drekanum sits back, sporting a satisfied smile. Is everything all right? Shinlin asks, groan, concerned. Now the room's eyes are on Groan. Of course, Groan is not like Drekanum, and welcomes the attention, ill or not. Oh, it's fine, he giggles while rubbing his sore thigh. I can't wait to hear the story again. His voice booms louder, and then he turns to Pluto. The best part is when she saves a human boy from a cave full of horrible, drooling giants. Huh? Her mother gasps, hearing this. You didn't do anything so foolish. Vinter's face crinkles in horror and disappointment. Drooling like idiots, Plu exclaims, now quite thirsty for her tale. His eyes study her form with new emotions swelling within, playing right into Groan's ploy. I thought you hated humans, Sumar blurts out, astonished. She turns sharply to Veta, her mother. I told you to never make her a beau. She is just like her father, through and through. Any encouragement is like to set her off. Oh, dear. Venta puts her head down, shaking it. The room is conflicted. Mother, Drekanum touches Venta's shoulder. I saved Ollie. Drekanum's eyes enlarge, beckoning for her mother to understand her reasoning. And she does. Vinter is downcast straight away. A haunting returns to her eyes as she embraces her daughter. Hearing about the dragon flying off with you nearly killed your mother and I, Sumar says, becoming jealous of being left out of their hugging. Don't you dare leave me out, she protests. I helped raise you, Sumar tells Drekanum. Drekanum pulls her arm off her mother and allows Sumar to lean in, and they have a group hug. The males stare at the sudden display. Well, Groan says, turning to Shinlin, this is a very fine house you have, sir. I enjoy the food as well. My compliments to the cooks. Huh? Oh, yes. Thank you. Shinlin returns with his eyes glued to the ladies, feeling he missed some cue. Yeah, Groan says, waving at them. Just family business, reunions, that sort of thing. He laughs hard. His laugh is more for himself and his compliments of stirring up the room's atmosphere. Shinlin shakes his head, still confused about what just happened, but regards Groan nonetheless. I still want to hear the story, Pluto whines, pouty-faced. I wouldn't ask now, Groan tells him. My mom likes to pull ears. Have you ever had your ears pulled, Pluto? No, confesses Pluto, unsure of what Groan means. He is beginning to think that the whole family is strange, but being the leading family of Höfjar does afford them certain privilege. Well, it hurts, Groan explains to Pluto, who could care less, frankly. I don't want my mom mad by interrupting, Groan continues. You got your ears pulled because you're trouble, Shinlin points out. Your reputation precedes you. Trouble? Groan rolls his eyes and shakes his head as if disbelieving his ears. I am charming, he retorts. Charming? Maybe your popularity got you out of a lot of trouble, but not everyone is your fan. Shinlin folds his arm, leaning back, quite sure of himself. Your mother, good woman that she is, sees right through your shenanigans. Groan pats Shinlin on the back, smiling with a twisted, conniving sort of smile. Lord Shinlin, I like you. You're a smart man. I do hope that you win my aunt over. Pluto's eyes jerk, eyeing Groan. His eyes widen and his mouth dumbly opens. Slowly his eyes travel to Shinlin, and his eyebrows pull, and his nose wrinkles, as if considering thoughts he has never considered before. Shinlin turns away from him quickly. His eyes meet the lady's. It looks like everything is settled, nephew, he says promptly, avoiding Pluto's gaze. I think it's safe to ask. Pluto smiles unpleasantly at his uncle and Groan momentarily before addressing Drekanum. Lady Drekanum, it would please us all if you'd be so kind as to start with being carried off by the dragon. Drekanum rolls her eyes. Fine, she turns to Pluto and begins her story. Well, I hope you enjoyed this part of the story, Collective Minds, from the series The White Wizard of Höfjar. Remember, like, subscribe, share with your friends, leave comments of suggestions, things you would like me to do, and remember, writing is therapy, art is therapy. Try it sometimes. Until next time.